Emily Colleague.
For our broadcast this week, we focused on country music.
Here are the top 15 songs in country music for this week.
Now we have some new videos that came out recently.
Join us next week for Not the Country Music.
But for all the latest news and pop music.
Hello, Fort Recovery. I'm Kara.
I'm Elizabeth.
I'm Zaven.
And I'm Kylie.
And welcome to the second episode of When I Was 16.
This week we interviewed our excellent, super talented art teacher, Mrs. Monroe.
And we also interviewed our adorable, nice, hardworking superintendent secretary, Mrs. Gruby.
And you will learn a lot if you stay tuned and watch the second episode of When I Was 16.
I'm Elizabeth Hipple, and we are here with when I was 16. I'm here with Mrs. Monroe. So, what year was it when you were 16?
I was 16 in 1967.
Wow. So, what was some popular music back then?
The popular music back then would have been the Beatles, the Monkees, probably the early 60s probably would have been the Everly Brothers, Elvis Presley. The Beach Boys were popular.
Okay, so what about popular cars?
Oh, popular cars. Mustangs and Corvairs were basically the popular cars then.
What did you and your friends do when you were 16?
When we were 16, my friends and I used to go to a lot of the basketball games. We would cruise around town in our parents' cars. And usually go maybe to dances after the basketball games.
What did you guys wear when you were 16?
When we were 16 in school, we weren't allowed to wear jeans or shorts or slacks or T-shirts. Girls basically wore dresses and skirts, and mohair sweaters were a popular fad. Dr. Kildare blouses were another popular fad. The boys dressed in dress shirts and slacks. They didn't wear jeans either.
So, did you play any sports?
Oh, I didn't play any sports. The girls didn't have any organized sports back in 1967 at our school. The only thing we had was what they called Girls Athletic Association, where we played intramurals, basketball and volleyball. And our first organized sport was probably during my senior year, so that was girls volleyball.
Really? Wow. So, did you have a job when you were 16?
No, I really didn't have a job outside of the home. I lived on a farm, and we did a lot of farm things like milking cows, baling hay. That was my job.
Did you have a boyfriend when you were 16?
When I was 16, I didn't really have one steady boyfriend. I had boyfriends, but not steady boyfriend.
Wow. So, what were your life plans when you were 16?
I really didn't have any life plans when I was 16. You didn't think about what you were going to be, your vocation, or what you were going to be at 16. You really waited till you were about a senior in high school before you decided what you wanted to do?
Well, what about your parents? Did you get along with them okay?
Oh, yes and no. Sometimes they would get on to me for listening to loud music or clean up your room, normal things like we probably do today.
Sounds like my parents. Well, what were some embarrassing moments when you were 16?
Oh, probably my one embarrassing moment that I can think of would have been marching with the band and dropping my mouthpiece to my musical instrument while we were in the parade. So that was probably pretty embarrassing.
What was the best thing about being 16?
Oh, the best thing about being 16, getting your driver's license. Everybody wanted their driver's license at 16.
That seems like the best thing to me.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time.
Great. How are you?
Pretty good. So, what year was it when you were 16?
It was actually 1987.
What was some popular music in 1987?
Popular music was Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer." Good
Awesome
one.
song.
Yeah, awesome. Love some AC/DC. Another popular one was White Snake. See, what did White Snake sing? I gotta think. "Here I Go Again" by White Snake. So yeah, those were the popular songs.
What were some popular cars then?
Oh, Monte Carlo, Oldsmobile Cutlass, and yeah, that's it. That's all I remember.
What did you and your friends like to do when you were 16?
Well, I was never allowed to go out till I was 17, so we basically just went to the movies and just went to people's houses every once in a while, but I never really got to go out till I was 17.
So, what did you wear when you were 16?
When I was 16, what to wear, the fashion was big clothes. We had big shirts, shoulder pads was the thing, tack pants, we tacked our pants up, high-waisted jeans. So yeah, the style's a little bit different nowadays. So the bigger the clothes, the better. That's what we wore.
Did you have a job then?
Yes, I worked at Knapp's Carryout in Coldwater, Ohio.
Did you play any sports when you were 16?
Yes, I was a basketball player. Mm-hmm.
A lot of my family was in basketball too then.
Yeah, bench warmer, but hey, I was part of the team.
Did you have a boyfriend when you were 16?
No, because I wasn't allowed to date until I was 17. So yeah, my parents were pretty strict, so 17.
Did you have any life plans then?
I always wanted to be a nurse, and I never pursued that career. I'm not sure why. When I was 18, I'm not sure why I didn't pursue that, but yeah, I always wanted to be a nurse.
Did you get along with your parents okay?
I did, and we had to. Yeah. Back then, like I said, they were strict. Yeah, we had to get along with our parents, so didn't have much of a choice there.
Did you have any really embarrassing moments when you were 16?
No. Can't think of any. Probably did, but nothing really sticks out.
So, what was the best thing about being 16?
Oh, get to drive, baby. Yeah, driving. Getting your license, getting a car, and yeah, that was probably the best thing.
That's what I'd say would be the best thing, too.
Yep, you bet.
Well, thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
I really enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Seth Kreitz,
Hey, I'm Shane Brunswick.
and this is the second week to our college football outlook. We're going to start off with the top 10. In the AP, we got Ohio State ranked number 1 because of Alabama falling to South Carolina. So, yeah, it's a bit of a surprise there.
And number 2, no surprise, they've been playing great all season. That's Oregon, and they're undefeated still.
With their leading rusher, or actually second leading rusher, LaMichael James. I think they're going to be a powerhouse. They might make it to the national championship. We got Boise State at number 3. What do you think about them?
I like their little guy. I like the quarterback. He's a team leader, and I'm liking Boise State. I think they really deserve to where they're at right now.
And I think a lot of people overlook number 4 TCU. I think that they'll make a running for the national championship as well. We got number 5 Nebraska with Taylor Martinez, and best freshman quarterback I've seen in a long time. I think they're a dark horse for the championship too.
And number 6, we got Oklahoma. So what do you think about that? Oklahoma being number 6. I think they deserve to be number 6.
I don't know if they deserve to be number 6, but
they haven't played any tough teams yet.
No, but they are undefeated. So we also got number 7 Auburn with their quarterback Cameron Newton. I think he's a dark horse for the Heisman. And other than that, we got Alabama, we got LSU, South Carolina. South Carolina number 10 is not a surprise after they took down number 1 Alabama. So we'll go to receiving yards, leading players in receiving. We got number 1 Greg Salas from Hawaii. I think he's doing a great job over there. Very underlooked. I don't think many people talk about him, but he's got 757 yards out on this season. So.
All right, Seth. And second on the list of receiving yards, leading after this week, that's Justin Blackman from Oklahoma State. I think he's an offensive threat, and it's going to be good.
Other than that, one guy that really sticks out to the voters for the Heisman is Alshon Jeffrey from South Carolina. He really did a great job facing Alabama last Saturday. They took him down, and he was a big part of that. I think he scored 2 touchdowns in that game. And then we'll go to the quarterback rating. We got Kellen Moore from Boise State. That's no surprise there. That's one reason he's leading in the Heisman contention right now, is because he's been just throwing great. He's been on the money with every throw, and not many people compete with him.
And second on this quarterback rating list after week 6, we got Cameron Newton from Auburn. That's no surprise there.
No.
He's putting up some very hefty statistics right now. So
we got Ricky Stanzi from Iowa, this is a huge improvement from last year. He used to throw interceptions all the time. And but now this year, he's obviously improved as a passer. He's more complete as a quarterback, and I think he's might by the end of the year be a dark horse for the Heisman.
I'd say very much so. And we're going to go ahead and go to the rushing yards, and we have Denard Robinson. That's definitely no surprise there. There's no more on the rushing yards. As a quarterback, he's got 991 rushing yards already.
I think that if he keeps rushing the way that he does, if he keeps running around on the field this way, he might win the Heisman. He might have that locked down. But he needs to improve as a passer. We also got LaMichael James under him, and he put himself right in the middle of the Heisman talk by some of the rushing yards he's had lately. He has 848 yards on the year already, and he's not very far behind Denard Robinson.
Seth, does it surprise you that Taylor Martinez is ranked number 5 on this rushing list?
No, it doesn't surprise me, because after last week's performance against Kansas State, he really impressed a lot of people, and he ran all over the field, just tore up their defense.
He's definitely showing he can be a dual-threat quarterback with his rushing and passing abilities.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead and talk about Denard Robinson. I'll go ahead and talk about him. Last week he didn't do so hot, so it's trending down for him. Just like Ryan Mallett against Alabama, Ryan Mallett threw a bunch of picks, and that took him straight out of the Heisman talk. Luckily for Robinson, he put up a lot of, huge numbers, so they can't overlook him just yet. It was just one bad day. But while the season statistics remain remarkable, Robinson still must prove himself out there on the field throwing the ball, and he's got to prove himself against tougher defenses like Michigan State.
All right, Seth, and we're going to go on the upswing and talk about Pryor. And I think that he had an impressive performance, last week against Indiana. And I think he's really started to show his improvement as a passer more than a rusher. He rushed a lot last year, but now you're starting to see how good he can throw the ball and stand in the pocket. So we kind of got two opposite sides going. Denard, needs to work on his passing. But we got Terrell Pryor, who's getting on his passing. He's not doing as much rushing. So it's a tough call in the Heisman race right now.
It is, and I think everybody's tight-packed in this, and we'll see who breaks away with it at the end of the season.
It's full of excitement, so we'll find out.
All right, this is Seth Kreitz.
This is Shane Brunswick.
And that wraps it up for Week 2 of College Football Outlook.